Hey guys, and welcome back to another Premier League predictions video. Today, yes, it is the big one, game week 38 of the Premier League season. Obviously, still lots to consider. The title, of course, has been won and top four seems like it is wrapped up. But down at the bottom, there is still a lot to play for. So some big games coming up on Sunday to close out the Premier League season. So we do start with the runners-up. I believe Arsenal are locked in second place, and I have gone for them to beat Wolves by 2-0. Of course, all the games are being played on Sunday at the same time, but I think although they've been in a rough little patch, they haven't been playing particularly well, basically since they knew the title was gone. But saying that, they have had a very good season and they've outperformed everyone's expectation. I do think they'll close out the season with a win, particularly against a Wolves side that really have nothing to play for. Game 2 puts two of the probably overachieving sides this year against each other in a battle for European football. Aston Villa hosting Brighton at Villa Park. Of course, Brighton have secured European football, but they're still fighting for a place in the Europa League. Of course, the Conference League is confirmed. What I'll actually probably do is put a little snippet of the table on the side of our predictions so that you can see how we currently stand in the Premier League for those that don't know. So Brighton already secured European football. Villa, I think a win guarantees it. A point, they'll have to wait and see how Spurs get on at Ellen Road. So with that in mind, I have gone for Villa to win. I think they'll have a little bit more emphasis on actually pushing and winning the game, whereas Brighton might be happy with a draw, which I think would see them go into the Europa League. It's a tough one because they're both very good sides playing well at the moment, but I've just gone Villa to edge it just because they have a little bit more to play for. Game 3 sees the three-peat champions away at Brentford, who themselves still have a chance at sneaking into the European positions, but it's probably very unlikely. It would be a bit of an upset if they manage to beat City, but saying that, it does depend what sort of side City put out. Of course, they have the FA Cup I believe on the 3rd of June, so not too long after these games are played, and then obviously the Champions League as well, so they won't want to risk injuries. I have gone for them to win by 3-1. I do think they will win, but of course Brentford beat Man City at the Etihad earlier on in the year, played really well away at Spurs the other day with no Ivan Toney, so I wouldn't be massively surprised if Brentford get a result, but I think everyone will have gone for City to win. Game 4 is my boys Chelsea at home to Newcastle. Thank God the season is coming to an end for us. It's just been shambolic. I've gone for 1-1, which is more out of optimism than anything else. I'm hoping that as Newcastle have secured Champions League football, they might be a little bit sentimental and give some minutes to some of the players that probably won't be there next year. Chelsea, I think, will be fairly similar. So with that in mind, I've just gone for a kind of bore draw. I think both teams will be quite happy with a draw and not losing on the final day. We've then gone for game 5 between Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. Same scoreline of 1-1. I thought that this was going to be a huge game in terms of relegation, looking at the fixtures 5 or 6 weeks ago. But of course, Forest are now safe after a great run of form. But I think they will be quite happy with the fact that they are now secure. They obviously don't need to necessarily secure the win, and again, a little bit like game 4, I think both teams would be quite happy with a point in this. Now we get to the 3 biggest games of the fixture, the 3 teams remaining in the relegation zone as it stands. Now first off, I've gone for Everton to beat Bournemouth by 1-0. Big shout because they've been in terrible form, but my thinking behind this is solely that they have to win. They have nothing to lose. They have to win that game to stay up. Bournemouth have been on pretty poor form recently, basically since they knew they were safe, and they've been a little bit on the beach, as I think they will be on Sunday. So I've gone for Everton to win solely because they have to. And similar thinking behind Game 7 as well. This will be a bit of a shock, but I've actually gone for Leeds to beat Tottenham. Now, I did these predictions a couple of nights ago, and looking at it now, I'm maybe not so sure after seeing their display at West Ham, but They did it on the final day last year. They know again that they have to win to have any chance of staying up. And although Spurs can still qualify for Europe, I feel like their season's just completely unravelled, and even the players don't really feel like they can get there. So I wouldn't be massively surprised with the emphasis on Leeds needing to win, the crowd behind them, if somehow they manage to beat Spurs on Sunday. And then finally, the third of the teams that still could potentially be relegated, Leicester City at home to West Ham. Now I think this is actually quite a favourable fixture, because although West Ham have the Conference League final to look forward to, they won't be massively fussed about the result in this one. Yes, they'll want to increase momentum and keep their form and morale up, but at the end of the day they also won't want to get injuries. So I've gone for a 1-1 draw. I was tempted for, similar to what I did with Everton and Leeds, to go for a Leicester win, but I've gone for a 1-1 draw, as I do think West Ham are on very good form and I don't really see them losing. So it would send Leicester down, that result, and there is a chance that they do win it, because again they have to, so they've got nothing to lose. But for me, I've gone for a 1-1 draw. And then the final two again could have been important if the race for the Champions League was still on, but we know now that Newcastle have secured a Champions League football, and by the time we get to Sunday, United probably will as well, as they play Chelsea in midweek, and I believe a point there will guarantee CL football for the Reds next year. So with that in mind, I've gone for them to comfortably beat Fulham by 2-0. I think if there was a bit of pressure, then maybe it could be different, but I don't really see them losing that. I think they will win it pretty comfortably. Fulham have been playing a bit better since Mitrovic returned, but again, they don't really have anything to play for. Man United have the most clean sheets this season, and they're also a lot better at home, hence why I've gone for the 2-0 scoreline. And Liverpool, who are still technically in with a chance, as of recording this, of qualifying for the Champions League, they're away at the Saints, who of course are already relegated. Their form is horrendous. They'll just be looking to next season, and I think Liverpool will win pretty comfortably. As you can see, I've gone for a 3-0 victory. And my joker game this week, tough one, because I wasn't sure what to expect from Man City. Arsenal not been in very good form, so I've actually gone for Man United against Fulham as my joker. As I mentioned a minute ago, Man United much better at home than they are away, most clean sheets in the Premier League, and 2-0 has been a scoreline that has done me quite well over the last couple of weeks. So there are my predictions for game week 38, of course, final one of the season. We'll quickly head over to the predictions website to see how we stand going into the final day. Right, here we are then, guys, and as we knew, we had nothing to play for in terms of retaining any money. Of course, the top four do receive a cash prize, but of course we knew we weren't going to make up that ground. But actually, considering where we were at the beginning of fixture 37, we've actually done really well. We knew that our objective was to try and finish 10th, and we're only 3 points behind 10th now. The highest we can finish is 9th. We're not going to make up the 14-point deficit to those above. I'm also sadly not going to be able to catch my dad, who's up in 5th and still in with a chance of the top 4 and an outside shot of winning it, but he is in need of a miracle for that to occur. So as you can see, we've jumped up. It's still very congested in this middle area. I would really like to finish in the top 10. It realistically makes no difference, but it would be nice to finish in the top half. And you can see the reason we have jumped up so much is because we are second in the fixture, behind only my old man, who is in first. And you'll see the reasoning for that here is because despite only getting 3 correct results in the entire fixture, 2 of those were correct scores, and one of them being our joker, Brighton against Southampton. Great shout in my opinion for 3-1. My dad also had it, but I of course had it as my joker, and that did massively propel me up the table. I think, looking at it, the only person to have a 6-point joker in this fixture so far. We also then had Chelsea to lose by a 1-0 at City. I just had a feeling, even with the situation of the current teams, there's never many goals between the two, so I went for 1-0 and somehow we didn't concede more. But those results on Sunday massively propelled us. They were 9 of our 10 points that we picked up this week. No one had 0-0 between Newcastle and Leicester the other night, and there are 2 fixtures still remaining to close out fixture 37. So of course that has moved us up into a much better position going into this final fixture 38. So looking forward to it. There's always ridiculous changes with goals flying in the final 15-20 minutes or so. What I'm going to do is come back at some point with a full roundup of where we finished on the predictions website, because of course that will be updated probably on Monday. And I'd also like to go back and take a look at my Premier League table predictions that we did way back before the season even started. And I know for a fact there are some horrific takes in there, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. Obviously, now that the season is over, our Friday prediction slot opens up, and it will be the return of Call of Duty Zombies on the channel, which I know a lot of people did enjoy when they were out. So if you do enjoy the Zombies content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, as like I say, they will be coming back every Friday, if not more frequently, because I am really enjoying recording those videos. So as I say, make sure to subscribe and let me know your predictions for the final game week 38 down below. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Peace.